Hi guys, in this series of videos we're going to be building the Hasegawa FW190 D-9 or Dora. This is a kit that I've entered into a group build on the Scale Modelers Critique group on Facebook. I thought what I'd do is, as well as sharing my build progress on the Scale Modelers Critique group Facebook page, I thought I'd share also the build on my YouTube channel, maybe for those that just want to know a little bit more about what I'm doing. So join with me as I just crack open the box and let's see what's inside. So we have the Focke-Wulf FW190 D9 Hasegawa 1/32 scale. Let's see what's in the box of this. Okay, so first of all we have a set of instructions. Which we'll take a good look at when we do the build. So we're starting off as normal with these things in the cockpit and then moving through quite quickly actually to get this build together. This should be a pretty quick build. There's not many parts to this. We have three options. Okay, we have this nice distinctive red and white, although it's in black and white. We have this nice distinctive red and white underside to this one. I believe because in the latter stages of the war, when most of the air fighting would have gone over Germany, this was easily identifiable by the ground anti-aircraft crews. We have another one with the traditional crosses, and then we have the one with the white missing. I've yet to decide which one of these to build. I will just, for simplicity, just build one of these. Probably stay away from the red one. I quite like traditional looking aircraft, and this a little bit too bright for me, so probably one of these two, but I quite like the idea maybe of this one, but we can make a choice later on when we come to do the paint work. So that's the instructions. Right, in the box what we have then as well at the bottom, we have our decals, decals, very straightforward. Okay, and we'll have a look at those a bit later on. Okay, so let's have a look at the sprues. So let's just move the box along to the side. So first up, separately bagged as usual, we have the clear parts. What I do love about the 190 is the cockpit absolutely looks gorgeous. I love this bubble canopy. It really makes for a lovely looking aircraft. Okay, so they look nice and clear, no damage on them. It's important to have a look at if there's any damage because you might need some replacement parts. So they're looking quite nice and clear. So we have two bags. So in the first bag, all bagged together, what we have. Okay, so now looking at the first sprue. So this is sprue A. We have the fuselage halves. A bit of cockpit details, not too bad. Now the temptation is, with most models these days that I build and other people who are far more advanced than me, they would be tempted to often buy aftermarket parts. So if you're displaying your aircraft with the cockpit open and you're just wanting that little bit of extra detail, then you would replace some of these parts for aftermarket parts. We're gonna, as this is the second in my series, we're gonna build this one out of the box. So we're gonna only use what's in the kit, maybe with some extra little bits like seat harnesses and things like that. But we're going to build this out of the box, so I'm going to use this, but because I'm going to have the canopy closed, I'll show you how to get the best out of this detail when we come to put it together. Then we have sprue F, which is the main part of the cockpit tub, some extra cockpit parts, the tail planes, some panels, wheel doors, and some flaps, tail wheel, a seat, and so on. All pretty much standard. Okay, so there we have B. This is the wings, top and lower. Excuse me. Okay, and here we can see where these panels are supposed to go. I can only assume because that, you know, you can change these up for different panels for different versions. The great thing about Hasegawa, they're very, very good models. There are other model manufacturers that are coming now that are sort of overtaking some of these models, and you know, they are a little bit older, but the mould work and the plastic quality is always pretty good on these models, I have found. You've got some nice panel lines and detail. Now obviously what you don't get in the detail here, so you don't get the riveting detail that you would maybe see on the sides of these panel lines. So we have an option of adding some of those things in. Using a tool like this, which is a riveting wheel, you can come in and add rivets in to the model. Pretty straightforward. You can get cheaper versions, so the trumpeter version, which is available from most hobby stores, looks like this, and that does a pretty good job, and I'll show you how to use these in these build. But obviously you could just go and straight and not bother adding any detail, extra detail at all if you don't want to, but it's an easy way just to add a bit more detail. And in this scale, it really gives it a nice level of detail when you add rivet lines and so on. So that's sprue F, that's the wings. We come on to the next bag. Okay, which is a variety of sprues. So we have sprue D, which is the rear tail. All very nice, nicely detailed. Okay, and the thing about the FW190D compared to the A, it had an elongated tail to offset the longer nose that the aircraft had, because it had a different engine. It didn't have the radial engine that the original A series had. So the D series had a different engine, and so it had a longer nose, and so they offset it by having the longer tail as well. But pretty much most of the aircraft is pretty much the same. I think the wings of the D-9 is exactly the same as the A series, so that classic F190 shape. Now we come on to the gear wells, some extra little bit of details from around. Okay, pretty straightforward. And the last sprue here, we have some wheel sections, we have wheels, we have a pilot, which is handy. I do like it when they include a pilot, especially when I like to build a lot of mine in flight. It's difficult these days always to source a pilot without spending a lot of money on them. A little bit more detail for the cockpit, which isn't too bad. There's some nice detail on there, which we can bring out, and some exhausts. There we have the sprues. We'll pop those back in the box. What we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to build this. So we're going to build it out of the box. Unlike my last build, which was very, very basic, really ideally for those building their very first model. In this one, we're going to use an airbrush to do the paintwork, and pretty much everything else is going to be the same. We're going to use filler, and I'm going to use some slightly more advanced stuff that you can use. So we'll go through the tools and the things you're going to need for this build,